So 3 biggest mistakes hot yoga students make in class. I'm talking about the Bikram world, the Barkan world, inspired by Bikram's teacher Bishnu Ghosh, hot yoga. Let's get right into it. Mistake number 1, not listening to the teacher's cues, not listening to the instructions, what Bikram calls the dialogue, what the Barkan Method calls the bullet points, especially if you're doing the same postures every day. And if you're doing it the same way, you get stuck, not just physically, but mentally. You're stuck in a rut because you're not really listening to the information and applying that information into your body and being in the present moment. Now, sometimes it may be the teacher's fault. A lot of times in the Bikram world, they go into this rapid fire pace. You're thinking about what they're saying and they're 6 sentences ahead. When Bikram teachers come to my teacher training program, I tell them to slow down. I'm not saying to be softer. I still want you to maintain the energy, still want you to maintain that intensity and that passion, but you need to slow down so the students will actually hear what you're saying. There's a famous jazz piano player from years ago called Count Basie, and he would play less notes than any other jazz piano player, but every note was perfect. So the fix is being totally present, being in the moment. Let's use an example like the eagle pose, what I consider to be one of the most important warm-up poses because we're opening up all the joints in the body at once. The shoulders, the wrists, the elbows, the ankles, the knees, and especially the hips. So when you're doing this posture and you're just doing it because the teacher's telling you to do it, you're doing it because you do it every day and you think you're just supposed to be doing this pose, opposed to really understanding what the teacher's saying, applying that information, and really feeling what's happening in the body. Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist, told his students, don't think, feel.
Don't think, feel.
You gotta feel what's happening in the body, all those joints opening. It's a perfect prelude for the postures that are coming up. Standing head to knee, standing bow, the iconic poses. The eagle pose prepares you, opens you up. Have that mindset, have that understanding. Before we continue on, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. Any questions you have, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you. Another posture is the tree pose. A lot of times people just pick up their foot, they put it on their thigh, they hold it, they bring their hands to the heart center, namaskar, and they just stay there. What's happening? Why are we doing the tree pose? We're doing it to create a lateral or external rotation of the hip. So as the knee goes out and back, the hip comes forward. There's a hinge that happens. So we want to actually feel, not think, but feel that rotation coming forward of the hip. The knee goes back, the hip comes forward. We open up that body part. The hips can be a very, very tight part of the body for many people. So this is a great pose to understand and feel what's happening. The knee goes out, the hip comes forward. Feel it. Now, if you don't have access to a hot yoga studio in your area, or you don't really relate to the studio or to the teachers, that's why I created the Barkan Method Hot Yoga Online Membership. I've been recording every class that I've taught since the pandemic. So we have over 600 classes now on the membership. Click the link in the description below. There's a 7-day free trial, see if you like it. Mistake number 2, not understanding your body type and then adjust accordingly. If you're stronger than you are flexible, I've said this many times in my channel, but I want you to listen to it again because it's super important. Especially in the Bikram world, Bikram likes to say tight, 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 hold it, hold the muscles tight. If you're stronger than you are flexible, that cue can actually inhibit your range of motion, actually stop you from going further within the pose. You're already strong enough. You don't have to worry about tight, tight, tight. And this only applies if you're stronger than you are flexible, need to relax more. You need to let go. Bikram would always say too in the standing bow, let go and kick. Let go and kick. Don't hold on so tight. I was fortunate enough to teach all the professional athletes, all the sports teams in South Florida, the Miami Heat, the Florida Panthers, the Florida Marlins, back now they're the Miami Marlins, and the Miami Dolphins. There was one particular player, Zach Thomas, who told me, and he actually in 2023 was inducted into the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest linebackers to play the game in the modern time. He told me that this hot yoga was the hardest thing he ever did. Now, was it because the hot yoga class was more demanding than the exercises that they put them through on the field, especially in preseason? Preseason football, the exercises that the athletes go through is insane. They say it's harder than Marine boot camp. It's not that the hot yoga was a tougher exercise, but it went against the grain because he was strong. He could lift weights, he could run all day long and do sprints, but to actually stretch his body, because what happened was what he was making the mistake doing, and I corrected him and helped him with it, he was using his muscles to go further in the pose. He was holding on too tight. He was doing the Bikram cue, tight, tight, tight. And I was saying, no, you gotta let go. You're strong enough. Relax more. Let the flexibility unfold. Hold the position. Only use enough strength to maintain the position and let the body respond. Speaking of athletes, I also worked with Jeff Conine, who played for the Florida Marlins. Back then it was the Florida Marlins, not the Miami Marlins. That's how long ago it was. It was like the late 1990s. And I would come to the studio and teach the team, but also teach Jeff personally. So one time he asked me to come in right before a game. And we did a short, like 25-minute routine. I didn't want to do a heavy-duty routine because he had a game to play. Because he had a body awareness. He told me he would study different baseball players in the past, like Joe DiMaggio, for example. When he would hit the ball, his hips would turn all the way to third base. He'd have such a rotation with his hips, he would be able to get the bat around faster. When Jeff, because his hips were tight, when he would hit the ball, his hips would only go to first base. So he worked on opening up his hips, creating that range of motion. So he was lucky to have that awareness. Side note, the time I went to the stadium and taught him right before the game, I didn't stay for the game. I was driving home, but I was listening to the game on the radio. And the first time up, I think he batted third in the lineup. The first time up after our class, he hit a home run. And I went, yep, it was definitely the yoga. I took credit for that home run.
Not because of you.
And mistake number 3, and probably the biggest mistake of all, not setting goals, especially again when you're in the Bikram world. In the Barkan world, we also do the same postures in the beginning of the class, the same in the same order, even though we have 2 classes. There's the Barkan Method Hot Yoga class and the Barkan Method Vinyasa, but both those classes start the same because I like doing the same postures, some postures the same every day, especially the iconic poses like eagle for the warm-up, standing head to knee, standing bow, postures that I probably featured on my channel more than any other postures because they're the recognized poses to our particular style of yoga and definitely the most glamorized. But we do the postures every day to measure results. But if you're not setting goals and you're doing the same thing the same way every day, you get stuck, not just in your body, but in your mind. In fact, your mind, the tension that you have in your mind is actually restricting your range of motion in your body. So here's the equation I consider to be the most profound thing I say on this channel. Rochelle drumroll. Find your starting point every day without judgment. That's important, without judgment. Don't say, oh, I wish I was doing what she was doing. I can't do this posture as well as I wish I could. No, don't make the judgment. This is what is. Find your starting point without judgment and then find the next inch. That's it. If you live outside of the United States, find the next 2.54 centimeters. That's it. Give yourself not just a goal, but a tangible goal. If your upper leg is bending and standing head to knee, your goal is not the final position. Your goal is not the full expression because you're really far from that because that's too far away for you in that moment. Your goal is how you can go 1 more inch further or 2.54 centimeters further to get that leg out to that parallel position. Same thing with a standing bow. If your leg is only a few inches, a few centimeters above your head and standing bow, your goal is not the full position. Your goal is to go to that next level. So you want to see it before you do it. That's what the Olympic athletes do. That's what the professional athletes do. They see it in their head. They visualize the event as if it already happened.
See it before you do it. You see it, you do it.
They have that visual image before. They see it, then they do it. See it, then they do it. When I was in my teacher training program, there was only 3 of us. And one of the people that were in my training was Paul Grilly, who's one of the founders of Yin Yoga. And we would go to UCLA all the time and watch the gymnastics. This is right before the Olympics. And so here's an interesting side note. We were watching the female gymnastic Olympians, and the #1 female gymnast in the United States is a girl named Tracy Talavera. She was #1. But what happened was she had a growth spurt right before the Olympics. All of a sudden she got to be 5'10". And when you're taller, it's much harder for you to do the gymnastic event. Just like yoga, it's the same thing. Your center of gravity is shorter. A lot of the really good yogis, like Bikram and Tony Sanchez and Isaac Garcia and Joseph Encina, they're little guys. They're short. Center of gravity, just like gymnasts. Anyway, back to Tracy Talavera. She didn't even make the team because she grew to 5'10", I think it was. But they made her an alternate just out of sentimentality. That was the year that Mary Lou Retton broke all the records and won the gold medal. So now back to the 84 Olympics, and I was already in Florida because I moved here in Florida in 1982. I was watching the 1984 Olympics, which was in Los Angeles, by the way, and watching the male gymnast. And back then I was just starting to do handstands, but I would just kick up to the handstand. But I'd watch them on television. They would do this wonderful lift and rise gracefully into their handstand. And I kept watching it on television. I said, let me just try that. I went into my living room, and the very first time, just from the visual, just from visualizing what it is I wanted to do and seeing myself do it, I was able to do it the first time and come right up in a beautiful, graceful way. See it before you do it. Visualize it having already happened. And that gets you in that positive frame of mind. Because if you're in the negative frame of mind, you're back to that judgment again. That judgment, that negativity will ripple into your physiology and actually slow down your progress. So change your mindset. Big difference. So let's sum it up. Mistake number 1, not listening to your instructor, not listening to the cues. Be present. What's happening? Why are they saying this in this particular way? And then I use that information in that present moment and make the adjustment. Mistake number 2, not understanding your body type. If you're more flexible than you are strong, you have to think strong, tight, solid. If you're stronger than you are flexible, loose, relaxed. Adjust accordingly. Mistake number 3, setting your goals. Visualize what you're doing in a positive frame of mind. Find your starting point in each pose without judgment and find the next centimeter. That's it. My upcoming teacher training programs and workshops, October 5th to the 10th. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale for Barkan Level 2 and 3 at Prana Hot Yoga. The day after, October 11th, I'm going to be up in Coconut Creek, Florida at Evolution Yoga doing a Barkan Hot Vinyasa workshop. The next month, November 7th to the 9th, I'll be at Revive Yoga in Marltown, New Jersey for a Barkan Vinyasa and 26 and 2 workshop. I put links in the description below. We'd love to have you join us. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you, and I will see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.